Hello and welcome to T Money Talks. In this week's episode, T Money is going to talk about Thanksgiving and anything else that comes to their mind. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Hello and welcome to T Money Talks. Hello to the Thanksgiving podcast episode. No, I'm just kidding. This isn't anything special. We unfortunately do not have any special guests for this Thanksgiving themed episode. Although I'm saying it's Thanksgiving themed episode, I honestly have no idea what I'm gonna talk about. Because I wasn't hoping. I did ask Jer if he would be able to do this podcast tonight, but that was only going to happen if he did not have to go to work tonight. And unfortunately, folks, he did have to go to work. And well, I worked both Saturday and Sunday this weekend. Yesterday was a two show day, so I essentially worked 6 hours that day, and I haven't done a shift like that in a while, and so those days usually take me out. The double show days usually take me out, so I'm pretty tired today. I also had work, so I do apologize. You are getting a tired T-Money for this Thanksgiving themed podcast episode, but nonetheless, I will do my very best to give it my all, give you guys the best Thanksgiving turkey day loving type of day. I'm tired, as you could tell, because I'm I don't really know. Turkey Day 11, I don't know. Honestly, for me, the one thing about, I'm getting a little aggressive because I was going for the mic there. But the one thing about Thanksgiving for T-Money is Thanksgiving just isn't really Thanksgiving if there is not going to be turkey. Turkey, I feel like, is the only one thing once a year that I eat. We don't make it during Christmas because it don't make sense to have turkey not on Thanksgiving or during the month of November. I feel like it's very rare to meet people who just bake turkeys or cook turkeys on regular occasions. I think that's strange if it is, or maybe it's normal. I don't know. I find it strange anyways. But yeah, I feel like if we're going to have a Thanksgiving dinner, if there's not turkey, like, my thing is, I don't even care if we were to we weren't going to do the traditional Thanksgiving foods. I feel like even if we were to just have a pizza party on Thanksgiving, okay, I feel like I'm tired, so I'm not speaking right. Even if we were to have a pizza party for Thanksgiving, I would still request or require a turkey to be cooked and made and also part of that pizza party Thanksgiving dinner, because in my opinion, in T-Money's opinion, it's just not Thanksgiving if there is not turkey on the table. If turkey is not an option to put on your plate, then are you really celebrating Thanksgiving, or are you really having a Thanksgiving dinner? Because you don't even have to celebrate Thanksgiving. We all know Thanksgiving is a scam anyways. But aside from the history that Thanksgiving is, I feel like the only way you could really qualify to say you're having a Thanksgiving dinner is if you throw some turkey into that combination, because otherwise I just feel like, and this just could be the way I was raised talking, but I just feel like it is just not Thanksgiving if there's not a turkey in there. Going gobble gobble, gotta eat up, not that, oh, where's the bird, or spending all day waiting for that turkey to finish. It's just really not Thanksgiving without it. And I know, because there was one year for Thanksgiving, my family almost did not do a turkey, and I was very, very saddened by that, because everyone's like, well, no one eats the turkey, or there's always so much turkey left, and I'm like, yeah, that's the point, dog. That's the point, my guy, is to have weeks and weeks of turkey as leftovers. Isn't that the whole purpose of this feast of Thanksgiving? Is so that we can make so much food that everyone goes home with weeks worth of leftovers? Because if that's not Thanksgiving, if that's not the dinner, if we don't have so many leftovers that people are going home with at least a month worth of food, Did you have a Thanksgiving or did you just have a dinner on a Thursday? But that's just T Money's opinion. This again is just T Money's opinion. I could be completely wrong, or you could not agree with me. It is all completely up to you. It is your life. What you choose to do and what you choose to believe is all up to you, my friends. Yes, it is. And so yeah, that's how I feel about Thanksgiving. I feel like turkey is the one Thanksgiving tradition that I must need in order for it to feel like Thanksgiving. Otherwise, if there is no turkey, to T Money, it's just not Thanksgiving. It's just a regular old day in November if there's no turkey. Just don't feel right. Don't feed the soul. It doesn't feel like I can naturally move on to Christmas until I get that turkey dinner. Which, wow, Christmas is already going to be around the corner. That's insane. But yeah, that's I feel like that might be the only thing I have to say about Thanksgiving is T Money feels strongly that turkey is a secured, like it's a staple dish in Thanksgiving. T Money feels very strongly that turkey is that one staple in the meal that has to be there, and if it's not there, well, I can't be there, But yeah, aside from the food, the other thing that Thanksgiving is about family and coming together and all that stuff, and yay, holidays. And I don't really know how I feel about that, because it's like, well, everyone's all like, Thanksgiving is supposed to be about being thankful for what you have, and it's like, well, is it really supposed to be about being thankful for what you have? Or is that just the corporate America thing that they did so that they could capitalize money on us, Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know where I'm going with that. I feel like, I'm sorry. I feel like we're not going into that. We're not going into that on this podcast episode. I do apologize. I feel like today T Money is just a little bit all over the place. A lot has happened today. I've had to go to work. I've had to deal with a lot of emotions, and it's just a lot of craziness that is going on. And it's just like, well, the time is coming where T Money is gonna have to apparently spell some things out for folks. And well, it'll suck because I don't like conflict. I very much love to avoid conflict. If I could defuse an argument by not saying something, that's normally what I would do. But however, though, T Money is changing. T Money has evolved. T Money is no longer who they once were. So now T Money is no longer, I mean, yes, I still don't like confrontation. I don't like to upset people, but T Money has learned, and well, now if someone upsets me, instead of me not saying anything, I'm going to now speak my mind and express my feelings. And I've been having to do that a lot today, and it's just very draining, which is also probably why I'm even more tired than usual. I also have been having a very insomnia-filled week this week as well. I've been not going to bed till like 2:30, 3 o'clock. It's been really bad. I've almost been tempted to do like a insomnia-themed podcast episode, and who knows, I might if it comes again, but not for tonight, of course, because I was thinking last night when it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock, and I was like, wow, I wish I could go to bed. I was thinking about what to do for the podcast, and one of my ideas that came to my head was, well, I can't sleep right now. What if I just did an insomnia themed podcast episode where it's literally 2:30, 3 a.m. and I'm just talking to myself, and I just say whatever it is until I get tired enough to sleep? Or if I don't get tired, and then that's the other thing is my body is so insane that I could just stay up endlessly until I'm just cannot I could go a full 24 hours before my body will allow me to sleep. And it's kind of upsetting, very upsetting, because I've had insomnia my entire life, and well, as for someone who loves to sleep, it's really hard to get me to go to sleep, which sucks. So that's been my week. And so, yeah, that I wanted to make that a podcast episode. I thought that would be fun, but because Thanksgiving is next week and this podcast will be airing the day before Thanksgiving, I was like, well, I know last year I forgot to do a little Thanksgiving themed podcast episode. So I was like, I cannot forget it for season 3 of T Money Talks because I don't like when I forget, when I have things like in season 1, I had a lot of like the October having all the Halloween spooky themed episodes. I didn't get to really do that in season 2, not so much in season 3 either, so I'm not really doing that great of a job. I do apologize, but I am trying my best, and since I remembered Thanksgiving was coming around, I was like, no. As much as I would like to do an insomnia themed podcast, I cannot because I got to talk about Thanksgiving, and I'm just sitting here now and I'm like, now I know why I would bring Jer onto a lot of holiday themed episodes, because it's much easier to talk about holidays when there's another guest to discuss their holiday traditions as well, because I don't really have Thanksgiving traditions, although I am excited because during Christmas time we will usually play games for Christmas gifts. And so I believe for this year for Thanksgiving, we're not playing for prizes. I mean, for Christmas gifts, but I believe we will be playing games during Thanksgiving. And I look forward to that because it should be a lot of fun. Usually the family, we all have a great time playing all the games for Christmas, trying to win prizes and whatnot, all that jazz. It's always a lot of fun. But I don't know where I was going. I don't know why I said but, because I completely lost what I was saying. I do apologize. I'm tired. This is a tired T-Money. It might be a short podcast episode as well, just because T-Money is on. I'm tired. I don't really know what to talk about Thanksgiving wise. I also didn't have a lot. I didn't do a lot this week either. I rested a lot. So T-Money just doesn't really have a lot to give to you guys this podcast episode, and I do apologize because this sucks. I feel kind of sad because I don't have anything to share for this podcast episode, and that it sucks. Yes, it does, because I feel like now this episode isn't going to be as good as past episodes, and now it's kind of like, dang, maybe I should have just done an insomnia themed podcast episode, because then at least it would have been interesting, whereas right here, right now, I feel like I'm just rambling. I'm just trying to get things to get them said rather than having a topic, and I'm like, this is feeling very much like season 1 T-Money Talks, and we're season 3 T-Money Talks. We have progressed. We're evolving. We're not doing this anymore, and it sucks that I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry this podcast episode isn't going to be very long, or I feel like it's not as good either. I don't know. This week just has been strange. I've been feeling very off this week. It's been strange, so I do apologize. Hopefully, I do hope next week. I'm hoping next week I could get a guest on the podcast, because it has been quite some time since we had a guest on the podcast, and I can also feel myself slowly starting to not burn out or like so much lose interest in T-Money Talks, but slowly the light is fading with T-Money Talks, and which makes sense, because usually around this time is the time that that I start to the flame starts to dim a little bit when it comes to the podcast episodes, because usually I have a lot more to talk about, a lot more going on during the beginning of the year, and now that we're coming towards the end, it's kind of like, well, I don't have a whole lot to say, or the things that I do have to say, I'm like, well, that's not really this podcast episode type of deal, So, yeah, that's how I feel about this episode. I do apologize, but I feel like it fits in the theme that is Thanksgiving, because after all, Thanksgiving doesn't make a lot of sense, so why should this podcast episode make sense? I don't know. T-Money is tired. T-Money has a lot of feelings that they have to deal with at they don't want to. Oh, I don't know why I'm talking about myself in the third person, but yeah, I have a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions, a lot of things that I want to talk about, but It's just not something that I would like to discuss on the podcast, which it's good. It's good to have boundaries. That's number one thing is, although yes, I like to try to be as open with you guys as I possibly can to show you the journey of self-love, of self-discovery, of learning who I am. Another important thing is boundaries, and well, I have to set a line at some point on the things that I'm willing to express and talk about here on my podcast, because although, yes, this essentially is a journal, a diary for myself, with a little comedy in there to help brighten your day, I'm still very much here for myself, to better get to know who I am, and to also just be able to talk a lot better. Although... sometimes I feel like my grammar gets worse, but I'm also like, well, yeah, I'm tired though at the same time too. So is it really bad, or am I just tired? Questions, But I lost what I was talking about again. I do apologize for that. I cannot remember what I was... I think we're going to have to bring this podcast... We're going to have to start wrapping up this podcast pretty soon, which does suck. I feel like this is probably going to be one of T Money's shortest podcast episodes, only because I don't have anything to talk about. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I don't have anything to talk about, and I feel like I'm upset. I could feel that I'm upset. And because I am upset and I'm not allowing myself to talk about what it is I want to talk about on this podcast, I feel like it's just not going to be a good podcast episode. And because of that, I will feel bad keeping this trying to push this podcast to like 30 minutes long. I already lingering here makes me feel like I'm wasting your guys' time a little bit by doing this, having you guys listen to this podcast episode. But at the end of the day, I don't know what to say, and my phone just went off and it confused me a little bit. But yeah, I just don't have anything to say this week. Sorry, you guys. I do apologize. I wish I could have gotten a guest on this podcast episode so we could have talked about Thanksgiving things and what people like to do or what traditions other people might have and all that jazz. But I just did not have the spark in me today, and I do apologize to my listeners. I apologize to you for that. I do still hope you enjoyed this rather short T Money Talks episode. I hope you enjoyed my little rant on how I feel about turkey and how that is the staple of all Thanksgiving meals. If you disagree, don't DM me if you disagree. Only because I probably will not respond to you if you're like, you're wrong. Turkey is not the staple of the Thanksgiving. Or who knows, maybe I will respond. I don't know. But all I know is if we get into an argument over turkey, I feel like we're both just get at the end, if we're not laughing, then we just angered each other for no reason. And that doesn't make for a good time. That just doesn't. Because that is the only Thanksgiving tradition that I have. But with Thanksgiving coming to an end, that means Christmas time comes, and dang it, that means decorating the house, putting up Christmas lights, putting up the Christmas tree, and starting to buy Christmas gifts. Me, oh my, Sally Pie. Also, I don't know if you guys do Black Friday shopping. My family and I, we used to do Black Friday shopping, but we don't so much do it anymore, which I'm kind of glad, because I'm like, and in the pandemic that we're still in and the chaos that is the world, Black Friday just isn't worth the chaos that it is. And also, people and stores, stores have started their Black Friday sales like the week of Thanksgiving. So it's like, it's not even a Black Friday sale. It's not even Black Friday anymore. It's like Black Week or something. Actually, okay, I'm gonna take that out. It's not even Black Friday anymore. It's just like, I don't even know what you would call it, because the deals are just every day of the week. And it's just like, you don't have to wait for Black Friday anymore to get the Black Friday deals. And it's just, what is happening to the world? The world is slowly falling apart. And yeah, it's just crazy. It's just insane the way the world has evolved, the way things happen. I need to change the song. I am so sorry. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. I do, once again, apologize for the short podcast, for not really having a whole lot to say for you guys, but it's been pretty boring for T Money, you know? Although I do have one other thing I would like to talk about. Oops, sorry, grab the mic again. There is one thing I do have to talk about, but that'll definitely be for a different podcast episode. Mostly because not that I don't have the energy, but I'm just not in that vibe or in that mood or in that zone to talk about Now or Never's next song that I'm going to be releasing and announcing soon. It'll probably have been announced by the time this podcast episode airs. Yeah, I'm going to be announcing it on Wednesday. But yeah, we'll talk about that stuff the following week or after I have a guest on the podcast episode. We shall see. So yeah, I'm hoping that to end the month of November on a banger with the podcast, and then spending December getting some real good podcast episodes in for you guys. Because there are some things in the works for Now or Never, which will give me more things to talk about, but like I said, I worked this whole weekend. I'm tired. I'm also a little upset still with stuff that went down earlier today, and it's just because I am not allowing myself to talk about that on the podcast. I just can't allow myself to go on for 30 more minutes. So I do apologize, and I apologize for apologizing so much on this podcast episode. And I know I keep saying, I'm gonna end it, but no. I am officially wrapping up this episode now, because I'm just gonna keep rambling and I'm just gonna keep stalling. And although my mood keeps going up and down, ultimately I know this episode it could have been better, and it sucks, but hey, it has to happen, you know? It has to happen, because T Money's gonna have this little downfall for this episode. I'm gonna drop the ball just a little bit. Not majorly am I dropping the ball, because you're still getting it's a 50-50 episode, you know? You get a little something good, but you also get a little something not so good. So I will bring it back up for December, because things will be good. We will be back on track. T Money's just going through a little funk right now, and that's okay. But anyways, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. I really do. I do apologize for it not being longer and for it not having more of a structure or more things for me to talk about Thanksgiving and just in general. You know, I do apologize. I hope you enjoyed, and until next week, guys, this is T Money saying live your life, because you are the only one who gets it. All right, bye.